Let's Connect would not be possible without the support of our sponsors like Massage Envy with 2 locations, West Covina and Diamond Bar. Of course, our friends from Prospectors Federal Credit Union with also 2 locations, West Covina and Diamond Bar. From our friends from Med Spa Deluxe LA with also 2 locations, West Covina and Rancho Cucamonga. And let's not forget our friends from Suburban Water Systems, here in the city of Covina.
We would also like to make mention Plaza West Covina and also Munoz and Munoz Attorneys at Law. So if you need a lawyer, criminal law, personal injury, accident, motorcycle accident, make sure you call Munoz and Munoz Attorneys at Law. Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Connect Now. And of course, it's just us 2.
I know, it feels weird. I feel like I feel empty, because we've been very busy with our last shows, just having a guest
after guest after guest, and now it's just you and I. And we haven't done this. Actually, we haven't done just you and I in a long time.
Yeah, I think you guys got used to not having us anymore talk about all the things that we talk about. But you know what? It's okay. Every now and then, it's okay to just, debrief about all the things that we've been doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I think we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I really believe we have a lot to talk about because, we haven't been by ourselves. So we haven't even really got to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month. A lot of the great things are happening with GWC. Let's Connect Now. Mm-hmm. There's so much stuff happening and even coming to the end of the year now, the holidays and all that stuff.
Because we just jumped in from one thing to another. Hispanic Heritage Month took so much out of us. We were super, super busy. And this is the first time we're actually talking to each other.
Gosh, now I'm forced to have to talk to her, guys. Anybody want to come on the show, please DM us right away so we get you on the show. So I'm just playing. I love doing this, and I love the fact that we're able to once in a while just let it be you and I, and we do want to talk about certain things, and so before we do get into that, because we I asked you to come up with your own stuff. I'm coming up with my own stuff. So we really don't even know, but I like this because it could go any direction, guys. So you don't want to leave because this conversation could go in any direction. And I want to put a disclaimer out there for our spouses. We might say things that, but hey, we're having fun. It's all for fun and games, not as play.
I can't wait to tell you guys, all the texts I got from my last show. Oh my God, from my own husband. Oh my God, I think I put my foot in my mouth, but you know what, we have to be real. But
it's fun and games too. We just have fun, we laugh.
Some of the stuff that I said is the truth.
Oh shoot. Well, you know what, I try to clean it up, Dave, but it's not my fault. Okay, I'm out of this.
No, you're not.
Oh shoot,
because you're the one that stirred it up.
I'm guilty by association. Oh my God. Oh, man. So what we're going to do then, we're going to try to find ourselves. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got some things we want to talk about. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ralph. This is Mike. We're Munoz and Munoz Attorneys at Law, here to help you guys for all your legal needs. Mike, tell them what we do.
So we do personal injury, car accidents, semi-accidents, premise liability, slip and falls, even dog bites. We do it all. Call us if you have any injuries involved in an accident. We're here for you to help. Thank you.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody in the GWC community, this is Danielle with Prospectors Federal Credit Union. Just wanted to reach out to all of you, say hello, and let you guys know we still do have that amazing CD promotion right now. 8 months, 4% APY or annual percentage yield, and it is a liquid CD. That means you can actually keep depositing funds through the entire time of that 8 months, and you also get one withdrawal with no penalty. You want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 909-396-9688. I'm at extension 2240. Or go visit us on our website, www.prospectorsfcu.org. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Whether you're seeking new clients, partners, or opportunities, Megamix Connect is your gateway to instant connections that could transform your business. Whether you're an attendee eager to discover fresh ideas a business owner ready to showcase your brand, or a sponsor looking to make an impact, the Megamix Expo is where you need to be. Join us as an attendee, exhibitor, or sponsor and take advantage of this incredible opportunity.
Okay, everybody, we are back. We are back, and we have so much to talk about. I mean, we never really talk about politics and stuff, but the elections just happened as well, and people are happy, people are disappointed, nationally and locally.
Yes,
A lot of changes.
A
New
president,
coming in, yes, and stuff, and I know, I don't want to get too much into it because we don't talk about our personal beliefs or what we want, but at the end of the day,
and the reason why we don't do that is because we want everybody to know that we respect where you stand.
Exactly.
And so
Yes,
we don't
of
want to
course.
come out here and be boasting about what we believe in because it is what it is, but we have to be very respectful.
right? Because we're not about pushing our personal agenda
No.
with the GWC or Let's Connect Now. We have our personal beliefs. We have our things that we want to do. And
I didn't even tell you who I voted for.
no, you don't. She doesn't. She doesn't tell me.
He was trying to trick me. He was trying to trick me a lot of times when we were driving, but I still didn't. I gave him a couple hints, but I still didn't tell him because I don't think it's a topic that should be discussed amongst friends or business partners or whatever because it could cause an argument.
It can cause an argument, yes, and I was happy that my daughter and myself we voted together. It was our first time. She's done it
Because I was shaming you because you were not going to vote.
I was going to vote. I was going to vote. I was going to do it after work. I just couldn't do it in the morning. Hi, she's getting all mad at me. I was going to go vote, but she's like, "You say all this stuff, and now you're not going to go vote." I was going to go vote. I was going to go out and vote with my daughter.
Well, I'm glad you did.
And doing it and voting with my daughter, it was amazing. She's voted a couple of times by herself, but it's just that it felt good because we both walked out of the poll, and I got to video her, and we were like, "Yeah, we did it."
That was so cute.
Yeah, it was a cool experience with me and my daughter and stuff, and then I got home and we ate, and that's the thing. My youngest daughter, she just turned 19, and she didn't vote because she was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know this and this and this. And we got to explain to her the importance of it, though, nationally and locally. And she did understand. And at one point she said, well, Asia, next time maybe you just stand next to me and help me. And Asia goes, you want me to get arrested? That's voter fraud. I would go to jail for that.
No, but you could do it. You could do it at home.
Yes, you could do it at home.
Your home.
We
if she
usually
has
do.
questions,
We usually do it at home. We do a mail-in ballot, but I don't know where our ballots went because we moved into our house and stuff and all that stuff and just everything cleaning and stuff. They got lost. So we went, but I didn't know what a provisional ballot was, so I had to look it up. I called you and Dave, and so if you ever lose your ballot, you could go to the poll place, ask for a provisional ballot. They will give you one electronic, whether you still do it on the electronically or you could do it a ballot on paper.
Yeah, because I had to help my parents with their ballots. They have questions, but I don't try to influence them to cast a vote just because of what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, I read it to them because they're in Spanish too.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's very, very educated, but with my mom, she gets a little nervous. So I just have to explain it to her. And I said, how do you feel? Do you know who this person is? Do you know
Right.
this? And so I just explain it to her, and she makes her own choice, whether it's the wrong choice or not. Even though I'm like trying to pull my hair because I do want to tell her, but I have to be very respectful and let her make her own. Her own choices, whether it's the wrong choice or not. She made that choice. It's
Right.
her thing, But
No, and I love it, and I love the fact that, this is a topic I want to talk about. So I know you have your topics, but let's talk about something that's been on my mind because, for instance, I'm new to this.
one of the many things that's on his mind. Oh my God, guys! I'm glad he chose one finally.
Wow. So, I'm new to I'm not new to the Greater West Covina. I've known you with it over 16 years, and stuff. So, I'm new to getting involved, really, really involved. Going to the State of the City events, legislative breakfasts, putting them on together with the GWC, putting them on and hosting them and stuff. So it's all new to me. And when I'm going with this by being new is there's in the politics world, because I'm going to call it that because I'm still new. I call me like just basically a civilian in this. I'm a civilian learning the ropes, getting involved. And when you do that, a lot of the times you make mistakes because there's certain ways people do things. There's certain ways people address each other. There's certain ways people want to dress when they go to these certain events. I mean, there's always, like, I would say, traditions of things that take place at all these things. And here I come, and I like wearing my hat. I like wearing certain just T-shirts. I have tattoos. And so sometimes, it feels like I'm the rebel guy in the group. Like, oh, who's this guy? They're all in suits, ties, dressed up. And then I come, hey, guys, hey, and I started to, because of this election, seeing certain people that, that have been in learning or have not really any type of experience, and they're running for certain positions and stuff. And then when they do get the position, now they're learning, and finding all these things out, I began to, because sometimes I doubt that I fit in, or are people going to accept me in this? But I started to realize that, in these times, I get it. Especially when it comes to politics, especially when it comes to having somebody of power that have a high seat. Yes, they have to speak a certain way and look a certain way, and I get it because that's the way it's been for years. And when somebody comes in where it's not the norm, it throws everyone off, and it makes it seem as though they're not the proper person to be in our environment.
Okay, so where are we going with this?
Well, I'm going with it is that things are changing.
Yes.
And we talked about it, where I'm going to be me,
So, okay.
You know where I'm going with this. We had this conversation.
I think I know where you're going with this. And to be honest with you, people that are, that have these, these seats or that are in, legislators, whatever, Congress, city, whatever. A lot of these people, they put up this front, and this is something that I've learned.
Okay.
Something that I've learned in the years of knowing so many different people, and people that have filled seats, over and over and over, whether it's city or whatever it is, and I've noticed that a lot of the ones that put up fronts, are not being themselves, and so they don't open. They have the window that they open to be approached is so small because they want people to respect them or to view them in a certain way. It's not necessarily a good thing. Today I had a meeting. I can't say what meeting, but there was a discussion about that. When you hold a high seat and you are talking to people, you have to be who you are, who you really are.
Yes.
Because that opens up many windows, and it opens up, and then you become relatable to the people that are speaking to you. You become like approachable. If you throw an F-bomb or if it's like you're real. Right? Yeah. And when you're not real, you put up this front, and so people are hesitant, to talk to you, or you become unapproachable. So you being in a circle of like all these different people, like when we go to say the state of the city, or we've hosted some events like our legislative breakfast or whatever, and you have to dress a certain way and do whatever, but you're still you.
Yeah, I still put my flavor with it.
And you become approachable because you have a title. You still have a title. You're an executive director, and that says a lot, and it's okay to be, because you're a very respectful person. You're approachable, so you bring your own spin to who you are, and I think that's a good thing. And I'm starting to realize that we need to be that way. We need to be approachable, no matter what our title is.
Exactly.
Or what we still maintain being who we are, but you're teaching me that. You're teaching me that I don't need to be so serious all the time and just be like, have one focal point or whatever. I can have many focal points, and really focus on my surroundings and not just focus on being stern and serious, because then you're not approachable. People think that you're either conceited or non-approachable, or they don't really talk to you about what really is in their mind.
Yeah, they're not transparent with you. And that's where I'm going with this, is because, I believe with new times, we're going to see a lot of the old ways, because I get it. When somebody is in a certain position where it's a high position, and I understand, but I believe as well, there is you still be professional, but you can have fun.
Yeah, let your guard down. Let your guard down a little bit. You don't have to go full on or or crazy or whatever. But just be yourself. Be real with people, because it really, you're missing out on so many different opportunities.
You're missing out on a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, times are changing. Tattoos are more accepted now. I don't think people really look at it as a bad thing like before. The way you dress is fine. I don't think you dress.
I've changed a lot now, guys.
You've never even really dressed gangsters that I've seen or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know if you're referring to that, but you wearing a hat, that's who you are.
That's who I am,
when
yeah.
you don't wear a hat, people are like, wow, you.
They're like,
look.
I didn't recognize you. Who are you? Yeah. And you know what? And that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that
I give myself credit for you not wearing a hat, because I think I started that whole trend with you. Like,
no, you did. You and Sarah from Espo Deluxe LA, and you guys encouraged me and pushed me.
Big forehead, you're
oh wow! Oh wow! Well, the hat is back, guys. The hat is back.
He's not bald. He has hair.
I have hair and stuff.
He has no balding spots or anything like that. I checked it out.
Wow. No, but but my whole thing is this, because I know I'm saying sometimes people in certain positions, we put them on a pedestal. And when we put them on a pedestal, what happens is that it's almost like we put them on a pedestal that, like, if they're not human, and when they make a mistake, it's like, oh, I knew it. Oh, ooh, like if they're not supposed to make a mistake.
I think that's how I used to be too. I was so scared, like, that people would notice something and then talk about me, But they were talking about me anyways, that I was not approachable and that I was, kind of conceited and whatever.
Oh yes.
And I never really let my guard down, on anything. I mean, to the point where I was single for so many years, working here, building the GWC, something like 10 years or so. And I put so many restrictions on myself that I wasn't going to date anybody in West Covina. I wasn't going to, be seen at a bar in West Covina, or I wasn't going to be caught drinking in West Covina. It was like all these restrictions on myself.
And I remember that too. You said, I'm like, wow. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and it's like. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't happy, with that. I mean, the decision not to date anybody in West Covina was the right decision.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a good one, yes. Because you don't want your name getting... don't get me wrong. See, like I'm saying, there's certain things that do stamp, but what I'm saying is, as entrepreneurs, as, business owners, and as, just being in a certain position, exactly what you said, when you're just yourself and you say, you know what? Yes, I'm still going to be professional. I'm not going to be, inappropriate. I'm going to be professional, but I'm going to have fun.
It doesn't discredit who you are.
No,
unless
it doesn't.
You're being disruptive in some way, or you're being too loose or whatever, and you're just like, and you're not that way anyway. So I think, I think you feeling like you don't fit in, that's your own insecurity, and you shouldn't feel that way, because I
don't feel like that anymore, because I can see now that I have won over a lot of people that I knew are rough around the edges when we had breakfasts, and you're like, oh, they like you, and I'm like, because you know what, they like me for who I am, because I am a people person. I love people. I'm just saying, because I'm talking about this because of the elections, because I'm not talking about the president who won. I'm talking about other things.
But it's so funny, like, there's some people that you've talked to that I've talked to in the past, and they're very serious, and we don't really laugh with each other. We're just barely touch the surface of whatever it is that we're talking about. But with you, they become I see a different person. You bring it out in them. Like you make people feel very comfortable around you.
Right.
That they open up, which they never opened up like that to me. And I'm like, wow, okay.
And
You
that's
know?
what it's about.
And that's a good thing.
No, and that's a good thing because going into this new era, this new age of politics and stuff that we're doing and we're seeing it. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because we're seeing it too, and it just brings it to light more because of what took place, and people are sad and mad and this and that. But at the end of the day, I'm just, I'm the type of person is I'm just saying change hurts. Change hurts. Change is good. Change sometimes can hurt us too. Sometimes change is bad. But I'm just saying that. But as we get the younger generation involved, like they said that this last votes, the younger generation came out more, and voted. The younger generation came out more and voted, and that's a big thing because that means that because pretty soon they're going to be in those positions, And I tell people this all the time because I run into people. They say, "Oh my God, I hate my city. This and that. This is happening." And I go, "Okay, so what are you doing about it?" Well, I don't know, And I go, well, why don't you? What do you have districts, or is it just because what we've learned? And they're like, well, yeah, we have council members and the rotation of the mayor. I go, then why don't you run? Well, I don't know, man. And they start complaining, but it's like, if you want to see change, the best way to do it is start learning and running and getting into those positions that where you can make a change, you can make a difference, because maybe you're not the only one feeling those things. But the change is going to happen not by us complaining, but by us taking action and actually doing something about it. And if it takes us personally to have to get into those roles, then hey, I mean, God showed you for a reason, right? And he's not telling somebody else to do it, but God showed you because maybe he wants you to make the change and get invested into what needs to be done.
Yeah, and it's just like with voting. A lot of people say my vote doesn't matter, so why should I vote? If you have kids, and if you start educating kids on the importance of casting your vote, it's something personal, and it's a good to me it you might think that one vote doesn't matter, but it does. If it's if you're voting for your city, like a city council person or whatever, your vote does matter.
Mm-hmm.
It might not matter like
nationally.
But
it does matter.
But it does. It really does. And I think before you complain, and if you didn't vote, then you shouldn't be complaining because you didn't vote. You think you don't matter, and so you put yourself outside of that box.
Mm-hmm.
And so you shouldn't be complaining
Mm-hmm.
because if you weren't if you didn't vote, then what are you complaining about? If you want change in your city, well, the only way you're going to do it is by casting your vote when it's time for voting, or going to a city council meeting and speaking and speaking your mind in a respectful way, or set up a meeting with whoever represents you. Learn what district am I in, who represents my district. Talk to that person. If they ignore you and they don't pay attention to you, then you go to city council meeting and say, hey, I've emailed you several times and you're still not answering me, because it's their civic duty to do that.
Correct.
That's why they're in office, because they have to be able to address, because they're there for you, for
the
people, the community. Your tax dollars are making an impact on in your city. So you need to go out there and really exercise your rights. You know?
And I love what you said, because I had somebody tell me too. They said, well, why am I going to vote? My party, this isn't even my party state. My party doesn't win. If your party doesn't vote, you're automatically giving it to the other party then. At least you got to start making a difference. Someone there told me that. And it's like, but you got to vote. You still got to vote, because you not voting is still voting. Because you're still giving it to the other party. You make 0 cents.
Yeah.
So you got to vote, and you got to make it. And you got to do it. And another thing that I saw in this election is Latinos came out a lot and voted and stuff. And where I'm going with this is more the not really about the election. I'm actually want to talk about it because it's about yes, we are the minority. Latinos, Hispanics, Chicanos, whatever. We are the minority in the United States. But if you really think about it, we are the majority. And I've said this a lot, that if we were, just unite, if we would support one another the way we're supposed to, we could do a movie, make it go blockbuster easy because of the support and of the people that we have here. A song, a movie, a book. I mean, anything that we really want to support one another, it could literally take off. But we really need to start coming together. And I'm not trying to be like the Latino advocate right now and saying, but I'm just speaking my heart.
Kind of are.
Oh, well, shoot. I'm just speaking my heart, and because it's about really, really supporting one another. Removing the crab mentality, removing the poverty mentality, the pie mentality, that if I help you, there's no room for me to make it. And this is one of the things I hear a lot is this, hey, look, I can't help you right now because I'm doing me. But when I make it, I'll help you. That's horrible. That is a horrible statement to say. Basically, they're saying, I don't want to help you, and I'm selfish, and I'm focusing on myself, period.
You're not gonna. If you're smart, you know that answer, they're gonna forget about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of people do. They make it a little bit, or they're halfway there, and they don't even care about you anymore. They don't care about the the little people anymore. They just don't care, and they just they move on. We don't matter anymore, and that's and I think you're right. Jealousy is evil.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because I think both you and I are as we gotten to know each other, we know that we are not selfish people. I might be in some ways. I'm not perfect, and I'm sure I am in certain things or whatever. But when it comes to community, even to the people that have hurt us and that have said, stupid stuff, or have, tried to take us out or done things or whatever, we're still very courteous and very nice people. And because we move past that, because we know if it's something that's not true, why do you let it hinder you? You move on.
That's right.
Right? You move on, and despite everything that people have said or have done, we've moved past it because there's no truth in any of it. So when it comes to our own people, one thing, I'm gonna go back a little bit, JR, to the voting.
Okay.
So 2 examples. Okay. So you have a city ballot. Okay, with people in it. I'm not gonna say who, but the first name that they see, because it was a Hispanic name, they voted for. And the majority of the people that did that didn't even know. They're in there. Obviously, they know it's their district, but they didn't even know. They just voted for that person.
Right.
Without knowing anything else. Maybe I'm sure there was some people that knew, but to some people, and the perfect example, I know she's not going to watch this, so I am going to, throw her under the bus. But for example, a couple of years ago, my ex-mother-in-law called me and asked me to, who should she vote for? Who is this person? And who is this person? So I told her, and she goes, should I vote for this one? And I said, I don't know. Do you know what
they stand for?
Yeah, what they stand for. And she goes, no, but I like their last name. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she just went ahead and voted, but she knew nothing. So he's,
No, and that's what happens a lot locally and stuff. That's why we're supposed to find out who these people are.
But I hate it.
Oh yeah,
Do you understand?
It's a horrible way to vote.
Hate
It's a horrible way to vote.
Because then you disregarded other people that could have made a difference. And don't get me started, but you disregarded other people that could have made a difference, that are also very passionate about, city issues and what they stand for. And it's sad. It's sad. I know we want to support Latinos, but find out first, who are you really supporting? Because it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
Yes, and I want to talk about that because that's another topic I want to talk about supporting one another. Like you said, before you support a Latino, you have to find out what they're all about. Because some people, prior to this, I had another podcast, and some people were really upset with me saying, you don't support me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, I do support you. I support you as a human being. I support that you are an entrepreneur. I support you. but what you're doing is just not going in the direction that I'm
Not in line with what you're doing.
Exactly. And that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
But people get upset because I'm not adapting to them, or they don't understand. But I do support you. I support you personally. But even for this, like even for what we do, Let's Connect Now. We're going to start bringing celebrities on. We're going to start bringing some influencers on. We're going to start bringing certain people on. And I know we're going to get hit up of certain people to want to be on the show. And at the end of the day, it has to align with our audience. It has to align with what we're doing.
Of course.
I might like you personally off this podcast, but with here, our audience might not understand you. And you can't get mad at us because they might not understand you.
Yeah.
It's a different genre.
And that's one thing that I heard. They said, "Wow, you haven't even given me an invitation to be on your show," and wow, I must not be good enough. It's not that.
Yeah,
it's not that you're not good
either.
enough. It just doesn't align with what we represent.
Yes.
And what we're about. Every podcast is about something, right?
Yes.
It represents something. This is not the one for that specific person, unfortunately. And because we're not going to throw F-bombs here, we can't do that.
No.
And if you don't have substance either, just because you have, a lot of
Followers.
but you have you have to have substance when
Well,
it comes to
it's substance with what we're talking about, because what what this show is about getting, whether you're a musician, actor, actress, business person. What we want to do is break it down on your personal life of what it took to get to those places. Now, if you don't look at yourself as a brand, because you are the brand, like right now, you're the brand, Monica. I'm the brand, and we're constantly pushing ourselves as the brand of Let's Connect Now. But if the person doesn't have that substance, they just want to come on here and like sit here and, yeah, that's what I do. It's like, that's not an interview. That's not being transparent. That's how am I supposed to let our audience know what you've gone through when you're just going, yeah.
Yeah, or they don't. They only give you like one word answers. There's really, you're not willing to open up about what it took for you to get to where you're at today.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know that because we want you to inspire people.
Exactly.
We want you to inspire. We want your passion to show. Like I know I show my passion when I speak it, and I'm not even going like full blown, on how I feel about certain things, because I'm still not comfortable enough to do that. But eventually, that would be my goal without insulting anyone, but really showing people, what I stand for and what I represent. I'm giving you just a little piece of that person right now,
Right.
because the full blown person, hey, some people might not like that,
No, yeah, they might not like it, but yeah.
So, but people know, my story. They know, if they've been watching the show and following, they know, I've opened up about a lot of things, personally about myself. You're still very reserved as well, and sometimes we have to pull certain things out of you. But I think you're opening up a little bit more now, because before, I'm telling you, everybody, he would never even talk about nothing. Who's your wife? Why? It was like, oh my God, like who's he married to? Let me see a picture of your wife. Why? It was like, oh my gosh, and but now you're different. You're opening up a little bit more, and people are starting to get to know who JR is, and there's no shame in who we are.
No, there isn't.
There's no shame on anybody. You know what? There really isn't. People know that I didn't speak the language when I came here. I was 8 years old. I had no idea. People made fun of me growing up. I got bullied because I didn't speak English or whatever. But, and I still have an accent. You make fun of me all the time or whatever. But, that's who I am.
Yeah.
That's who I am. I'm not trying to say, oh, yeah, I was born here, and, because I wasn't, And so there's a lot of things, and there's no shame,
No, there's no shame. And I was sharing with Aiden today. Me and Aiden had a great talk because I was encouraging him, and I hope it did encourage you, Aiden. Did it? No. Okay. Aiden said no. So he's dropping out of Mount Sac. Sorry, guys. Mount Sac, you just lost a student. That's it.
Wow.
No, no, but he, we were sharing because I was letting them know that, that I don't share my story a lot. And so I wanted to share with them, and I did share with them. I said, I was raised by a single mom. You know, I was raised by a single mom. I'm Chicano. I was in society. If we went by society rules, I should have been dead or locked up as well. You know,
no. Why haven't you told me about what you've done?
no, nothing bad, but just saying like being a young Latino in the 90s, hanging out with the wrong crowd. You were going and living right here in the city of La Puente and growing up in La Puente and stuff. You weren't really meant to succeed. You know, that's how society. I mean, put it this way: everybody would say, "Hey, dude, don't go to West Covina because the cops are gonna pull you over. They just love, you know." That's when I was growing up. That's what was told to me. For certain, like West Covina was the city, like it was like Beverly Hills. You know, I lived in La Puente. Hey, dude, West Covina, man, that's West Covina. You know, and that's how it was with us. Now go to Covina.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying. I'm just saying, love West Covina. No, but we, you know, but I'm just saying, like, I was sharing with Aiden, like, you know, growing up, you know, even having the opportunity to be here with you now and doing the GWC with you, being the executive director of the GWC, doing a podcast and being around business people and business owners and entrepreneurs trusting us and trusting myself to help them with their business. I was a young kid destined to nowhere when I was in high school, the teachers, somebody told me one time in high school, "Hey, the teachers were talking about you." And I said, "What? What were they saying about me?" And they said that you weren't going to become nothing in life.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say. But when I heard that statement, I got mad, but I went home, and I'm being honest right now. I really didn't tell anybody this. I went home and I cried. But I was like maybe my junior year, and I was like, "What the heck? I'm not going to become anything in life. What's going on?"
Horrible.
You know, and in front of them, I was like, you know, bleep you guys, man, you know, like I was JR, you know, junior, you know, but it hurt.
Of course.
And that moment, that statement actually changed my life, where I said, you know what, I want to better myself. I had my mom take me out of the school. I told my mom, if you want me to change, I have to get away from my friends, because I knew. And at the end of the day, what changed my life is God. I gave my life to the Lord. He changed my life. I got to travel around the United States, witness to people, share my life, and other people gave their lives to the Lord because of my story. And I got into reading books, educating myself. Because people would say, "What school did you go to? What college? I mean, you sound, you know, very sophisticated. Like you've been." I go, "No, I've educated myself. I read a lot of books. I took training classes, you know, reading John Maxwell books and all kinds of, you know, Earl Nightingale and all these other books. I've taken those and I've read them to better myself, to be a better person, a leader, a business owner, and I just from there kept it going and said, I want to be successful. I want to be a businessman." And I guess that's what keeps me thriving, because I want to be a businessman. I want to be a businessman. And that's what I'm saying. But it's for me, I want to be a businessman, but who I am. And yes, being in this GWC and political, and sometimes I have to go to certain things. And I do see people, you know, very, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And my energy is like so overwhelming for some people because they're very,
trust me, I know.
you know, I'm being me.
Yeah.
And that's
you know,
me.
It's funny how you say that, you know, your junior year, a teacher told you that statement was made about you. I had a 6-year-old when it was, you know, you ask them, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, what are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be a policeman. Oh, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a teacher like you. You know, I had a little 6-year-old little boy say, my mom said that I'm going to be a good for nothing. She said a bad word. And I think,
You're like, whoa.
I don't know, just hearing him say that, you know, is something that has stayed with me forever.
Yeah.
You know, forever. I mean, I was, you know, at that time, you know, my son was like 3 years old, and, you know, my daughter was 2, and then I had a 6-year-old, and it was like, I could never, ever go home and abuse my child like that. you know, and I think that really taught me something, you know, that was something that I was never ever gonna tell my children, you know, that they were gonna be a good for nothing, whatever. You guys can only imagine what she said. And it was really sad to hear a little 6-year-old repeat that, you know, and it was like, oh my God. And when I went home, I hugged my son and I said, you know, when you grow up, you're going to be whatever you want. You know, he you know, he's 3 at that time. He doesn't know.
But you got to speak that into our children.
Exactly. And
because
it's
at
something
school,
that
we don't know what they're getting.
You're engraving it. It's like tattooing it into his brain. You know, I don't know about him. I don't know anything, you know, of
where he
him
went,
or whatever. But, you know, my only hope is that he did become something. But it's true, you know, mental abuse, it doesn't matter where it comes from. You know, it has a great significance in our lives, because if somebody tells you, you know, you're going to be a good for nothing, you know, person, it could either go both ways. You can become what they said, or you could use it in a positive way and say, you know what, you know, use an F-bomb and say, no, I'm better than I'm, prove it to you, you know. And I think you've done that, you know, because you never went to jail. You became, you know.
No, I never went to jail.
Look at all the things that you've done. I mean,
thank God I never went to jail and stuff, you know, because, you know, it's at the end of the day, I look at it like this, where people say, you know so much, JR, why aren't you like way more ahead than where you are now? And I tell people, because I made a choice. I choose to be where I'm at right now, because Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, you could watch it on YouTube. Earl Nightingale, he says, you know, success is what people want it to be. You know, you could wake up in the morning and say to yourself, you know what, I want to just grow up as a woman, and I want to have a nice family. My husband has a good job, blah, blah, blah. And you know what, and you get that, that's success in your eyes. Other people, it could be something else. But if you set out to do something and you're not doing it, and you're doing something else, Earl Nightingale says, and I believe it, you're a failure. If you're setting out to do something and you're doing it right now, even though you're still in the process of accomplishing it, but you've set out to do it and you're doing it, you're having success, and you're living in your success. You have success. But if you're saying, I can't do that, but I'm going to just go get a regular job because, you know what, I'm not going to, you know, that's my dream, but I'm going to go over here and just, I'm going to work whatever. You failed.
Yeah, someone told me one time, they said, you know what? Someone said, I you know, like, what did it take for you to be a CEO and this and that? And I said, starting my own business. Pretty much, you know, I gave myself that title. You know, when I worked for the Chamber of Commerce, I was the executive director. That's a title that they gave me, you know, and then when I started my own business, I was the CEO. But I was the CEO way before I even started my own business and gave myself that title. I was the CEO of my family, of my home.
Yes.
You know, and people don't realize that, you know, when you have a home, you know, and you and your partner, you're both running your household. You're the CEO of your home.
Yeah.
You know, there's no executive director. You know, you both are running
partners,
your home. Partners, right?
Partnership.
And it's like, you know, and especially if you're running a great home, you have a good family or whatever, because there's still those discussions, you know, that go on just like they do at work, you know, because you're leading the home. You're
it's a business. You're talking about the finances. You're talking about everything that takes place in the home.
It's about
bills,
money, right?
Finance.
Yeah, and the majority of the talks are always about money.
Money and bills, yes.
Exactly. And it's, if you're not managing that correctly, you know, you're failing, right? Something's happening, you know. But when you, I mean, it's the same thing at work, you know, when finances are not, you know, being ran the right way or utilized in the proper way, you're talking about that too at work. And I think, you know, so that was my answer to her. And she's like, oh my God, I've never really saw it that way. And I said, she's like, well, I'm a single parent. Does that mean I'm a CEO? And 100%. Yeah. Why not? You take on that full responsibility on your own.
Yeah.
And it's true because, we're guiding our children. And if you're not a good CEO, of your home, how could you be a good CEO at work?
Right.
So, and that's something that I always, one of my professors said, if you're a good CEO of your home, you are going to make a great CEO when you start your own business. You're going to know, because the way you treat your work is the way you are at work, you should always be the same at home.
It's true.
Because there's people that are great CEOs and then they go home and they're shit.
No, it's true. I think we talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Sorry,
at work. Oh no, I'm the same at work. Just let everyone know, because I was almost becoming a pastor, and I preached a lot on.
Wow, you make it seem like people are right here in front of you.
Yeah, congregation, please sit down right here and understand right here. Okay, tithes and offerings. No, no. So I was gonna become a pastor, and a couple people told me, they said, JR, you're the same behind the pulpit that you are when we just hang out. You're the same. You don't change. You are the same. You don't act this way because everyone's watching you, and then over here you're like, no. You make me laugh up there, and you use that same energy. You're right here. And someone else even said, they watched me on a podcast. They said, bro, you're the same. Like in person, I see you on the podcast, and now I'm hanging out with you right now. Like, you have the same energy. And I go, because I'm real. I'm coming on here and being who I really am. And I learned this by a very successful young man, a successful person. I was working for them. They said this. They said, you want to know how somebody is in their life at the moment? Go to their car and look inside it.
I've known people that have a beautiful office and they treat people very nice, and then they go home and they treat the wife like crap. They treat their kids awful. They're absentee parents, and it's like, wow, it's no wonder. But how could you
day and night.
How could you be so nice to someone at work, and go home and give your family the worst of it?
Because I have to.
Yeah.
At home you don't have to. Like, we're home. This is supposed to be your home, your comfort.
Your primary. Oh my God, what am I saying? I know what I'm trying to say in my mind. Sorry, guys.
I don't know how to speak Spanish.
See you a moment. I'm trying to switch from Spanish to English. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm not. What I'm trying to say, if you can't be a good CEO of your home and treat your family the best, give them the best of who you are. How dare you, come to work and do the opposite?
No, it's the truth. Yeah,
it's true. Your family should always be first. You should be the best CEO you could be of your home.
And just us, because we gotta get going, but just us, I love the fact that we got to talk about this, because it's true. I like talking about, because I know we have people out there that watch this that maybe you are entrepreneurs, maybe you are business owners, maybe you're at a position at work. They have a position where you're a manager or you're just working. At the end of the day, we got to support one another. We genuinely got to support one another. We got to remember that everyone is going through something, and if you want to make the place where you're at better, surround yourself around the right people.
Yeah. And can I just make mention of something? So this is an observation that I made during the time that we were hosting Hispanic Heritage.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So not everybody knew, a lot of people knew who you were, because there were a lot of your contacts that came and you knew who they were. You knew what they were all about. I didn't. And some, not all of them, but the majority. So I've noticed, a couple of ladies, which I will not mention any names, but, I hadn't introduced myself. They didn't know who I was or whatever. And honestly, I got treated like when I walked into my office and they were in here, they were just looking at me, checking me out, giving me the look.
Like, what are you doing here?
Like the look, disrespecting in a way, not even a hello or anything. I walked in, hello, and they ignored me. They were just talking to each other. And I walked in and, I sat down and they said, oh, that's my stuff. You could sit over here on this side. And I was like, okay. And I stayed quiet, because that's my chair, that's my desk, and they had their makeup there, whatever. And I was like, okay, one person, had her feet up on our chairs and stuff, and I was like, okay, but they were disregarding me the whole time I was in here, and I was making it obvious, like, yeah, like I belong in here, and then later on when we when they were still here and we kind of introduced ourselves and they knew that I was up there on the stage with you or whatever, and then somebody introduced me to them, they're like, oh, and then they changed, then they were different, and I was like, I'm not having it, and I was very indifferent to them at that point because they were not, they treated me horrible.
Yeah, and I've learned that. On that note, let's talk about that. We'll end with that because I've learned about that. You never know who's who.
Yes.
And you always have to treat everybody with the same and with respect, because the person, when you go to a job interview, or you're going to a place, the person that you might just open the door to might be the person that's going to interview you.
Yes.
The person you bump in the lobby and say, oh, excuse me, might be the boss that you don't even know. I mean, you never know, and it's too late because they've seen your true colors.
Yes.
And
that's
too late.
Exactly what I was trying to say. So we have to be very mindful of how we treat people and be courteous. I walked in, I said hello. You're in my office. I'm going to greet you. I'm going to say hello. But I'm not going to come in with a power trip. Don't you know who I am? I'm not going to do that. I was courteous or whatever. But after the fact, then they
knew who you are. They saw they're basically they're opportunists.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi. How are you? But he's like, I see your true colors. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And I was
the interview is over.
Like I was seriously done.
Yeah. Anything you say is gonna go whoosh, because you just gave me, and that's honestly that's man. We talked about good stuff too.
I saw a lot of that during Hispanic Heritage, and not that I felt like everybody needed to know, but that's how you know how people treat you. Mm-hmm. You know how they are. If that person that has million followers is like, hey, who are you? Hey, who are you? Hey, and I've seen a lot of them, which are that way. But then there's those that think they're above you, and and they're looking at you as if you're nothing, or they only wanted to talk to, to this person or to this person. They only wanted to take pictures with this person. And it's like, really? Like, in my eyes, you're nothing.
No, yeah. And you got to remember that. That it's
how you treat people. First impressions are always what's going to carry you to another, to either another meeting, another interview, another opportunity for something. But I can honestly tell you that you will never bring them back. Yeah. And I don't even know if I've told you about them or whatever.
No, my wife told me the same thing. She noticed how the people were treating me, but they treated my wife horribly because she was working in here, and some people treated her horribly. And when she told me that, I'm in the same position as you now, I don't want to work with you.
No,
because you're going, hi JR, hey, but you treated my wife, which you didn't know she was my wife, horrible, and that's my eyes and ears.
And if they're working here, they deserve all the respect. All of them deserve all the respect, because they're not working for you.
Right.
They're not working for you. They're working for all of us so that we could have a successful event, so that we could all work, for the better of you. We're putting together a show for you.
Yeah.
And so if you're my guest and you're treating, the people that are helping us out, whether especially if they're volunteers, a volunteer is very valuable. It's more valuable than the person that's getting paid, because they're donating their time.
Yeah, they don't have to.
And they don't have to, but they're doing it from the kindness of their heart, and if you're treating them like that without knowing that's your spouse, or that's my friend, or it's me, or it's, then it's like me. Like, if somebody mistreats you, I'm going to step in and be like, if you could treat someone like that and you didn't even know that he works with me, and then all of a sudden he works for me and you're treating him nice, it's not going to work. So people need to be mindful of that that you need to treat all people with all the respect, because like you just said, if you just don't know who it's going to be,
who that person is.
and it could be that key person, and you just blew it for yourself.
You blew it for yourself. Yep.
So, but
wow,
yeah,
this was a good conversation. Man, we went from the elections to supporting to the mentality to you never know who you're going to be running into. Man, this is a good episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. We're every week. And next week we have some good guests coming on. I mean, we have some very good guests. We have, she's in a very powerful position. That's all I'm going to say. And she's coming on. And you guys want to make sure you guys tune into that.
can't wait,
And then we have
yeah.
somebody that's actually in a very good position too. I'm just going to say they're a DJ. That's all I'm going to say. But don't forget, tune in every week. On Tuesday, Facebook, YouTube, like, share.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Share, subscribe, guys. I mean, we love it. We want to grow with you guys. If you guys want to, sponsor, get on here with us. Let us know. We'd love to do that too. So until next time,
Yes.
we'll see you guys, right?
Yes, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for continuing to follow us. Really appreciate you guys.